The Blacksmith is the newest building in Clash of Clans, released in the December 2023 update, and with it came 14 new hero equipments. And the question we all have is, which ones are the best? Say hello to the tier system. We have an S, A, B, C, and D tier, and we're going to be dividing up and discussing each of these 14 equipments and comparing them all to each other. The first one we're going to begin with is going to be the Barbarian Puppet. The Barbarian Puppet is one of two special equipments that are kind of part of the original King's ability. This one is governing the little barbarians that pop out. We all know it. That's the basics of the King's ability is he rages up and he's got little barbarians that pop out. So it's not the best one, but it's not the worst. So I think I'm going to put the Barbarian Puppet in the B tier, possibly the C tier. We'll have to see as things go. And by the way, I'll use this moment to mention that if you have a different opinion, please post it down below in the comments. Free speech is welcome. Trolls are not. So be as honest as you want to be. And if you disagree with me, of course, you're entitled to your own opinion. This is just the opinion of one man. So go easy on me. The Rage Vial is the next equipment that we're going to be ranking. It is the King's Rage ability. When you pop it, it is so powerful and is perhaps the better of the two original King ability equipments that came with the King in the very beginning. In fact, the Rage Vial is definitely better, I think, than the Barbarian Puppet. It might even be an S tier. I would say it's an A at least. A strong A, potentially an S. We will probably adjust things as we go. The Vamp Stash is one of the two newer King ability equipments that come in. And this one is where every time the King attacks, he heals himself. And as we can see, it's not like overpowered, but it is incredibly powerful. Is it better than all the little barbarians? Is it better than the Rage spell? I don't know, but this is the first passive ability, which means it is always active on your King. It is not something that you have to trigger with using the King's ability, which I think honestly makes it even better. The Vamp Stash is definitely an A tier, potentially an S. It just depends on the healing. It didn't look like it was too incredibly, overpowered, but we haven't had enough time to play around with it. But I think that the Rage Vial and the Vamp Stash are both very good candidates for potential S's as we go down the line. Earthquake Boots is a really cool active ability, which is basically a free earthquake spell. Whenever you pop your ability, it destroys all the walls. It does tons of damage all around him. If you want to use the raid spell to get through the walls, you can do that, or you can use the earthquake spell, the Earthquake Boots, which is super powerful and looks like a lot of fun. But then he just kind of seems like he runs out of steam after that earthquake spell because I'm just so used to that rage spell. I think the Earthquake spell boots are going to be a B tier, and I hope that things don't just like collect in the A and the B tier. This next one may adjust things a bit, but I definitely don't see the Earthquake boots being as good as the Vampire Stash. So those were the four equipments for the King. If it were me, I would definitely equip the Vamp Stash and the Rage Vial. Those are the two that I would prioritize personally until we learn more and see how the balance goes. Next, we have the Archer Puppet, which is one of the two original abilities in the Queen's ability, and this one is the little archers that pop out. They do a lot of damage collectively. They die easily. It is probably in the same boat as the Barbarian Puppets. Archer Puppets are going to go in the C tier, and I'm also going to move the Barbarian Puppets down to the C tier as well. They just don't stack up, and Earthquake Boots might be as well, but for now, this is how I'm feeling. The Invisibility Vial is the other half of the Queen's original ability. We have the invisibility that pops up when you use her ability, and at least for level 15 here, it's 7.2 seconds, which seems longer than originally. And it's honestly hard for me to imagine the Queen without this Invisibility Vial. So the other two equipments better be darn near awesome, or I'm always going to choose Invisibility Vial, to be honest. Going invisible also changes the aggro of defenses. It is OP, it is amazing, and of course, the longer the better, right? So I'm going to place this in the S tier. I think it belongs there. We'll see if either of the other two equipments change my mind on that. The Giant Arrow is a giant piercing arrow that crosses the entire village. The amount of damage that it does isn't crazy high, but it is pretty good. And of course, mine's only level 3, but if you do this right, you can do damage to a ton of very, very important defenses. Put in the right hands, I think the Giant Arrow is probably an S tier as well, but given the average player, I'm just going to place this in the A as well. The A's are the ones that I'm excited about. I think they're going to be really, really good. The S's are the ones I don't think I can live without, and the B's are the ones I'll probably play around with, but I'll probably stick with the A tiers. So the Giant Arrow, I think, is a good fit for A, at least for now. And this is one that I haven't unlocked yet, is the Healer Puppet, which is the Queen's ability to summon a flock of healers, excuse me. That is insanely insane. That is healers that you didn't have to spend your troop capacity and your army cap on, which is nuts. Healer Puppet may very well be an S tier as well. Again, we haven't been able to play around enough with it, but imagine if when you use your Queen's ability, bam, you have a Queen charge, because we don't know how many healers you can summon with a maxed out Healer Puppet equipment, and you keep your invisibility. I mean, those two, and getting rid of the puppets, you don't need those little archers, and then the giant archer, I mean, maybe, you know, it's hard to target that thing, hard to make sure it hits the right things in the middle. I mean, I can see these two being the winning combination. But because I haven't unlocked the Healer Puppet, it is still locked. I'm going to stick with the Super Archer, the Super Arrow, and the Invisibility Vial for my Queen. Next is the Eternal Tome, which is one of the two regular Grand Warden equipments that come in where you make every unit around you immune. This is what this is what I know of for the Warden's ability. I mean, I can't imagine the Warden's ability without this one, to be honest. In fact, I'd probably slap the Eternal Tome in the S tier. I mean, the invincibility to survive the Gigabomb, or to just disrupt the single Inferno or the scatter shots or whatever. I mean, that temporary invincibility is unmatched in my opinion. So the Life Gem gives you extra hit points on the troops that are inside of the radius. It is a passive ability. This is the second half of the standard Warden's ability that we're all used to. So the Life Gem is a B for me. I mean, giving me more hit points is great. Give me healing. Give me infinite healing if my troops actually stay alive and stay with the Grand Warden. That is way more impressive to me than just a small hit point buff. And the Healing Tome is exactly that. It heals the Grand Warden and all nearby units during the active ability. So you get troops that are dying, use the ability, bam, they're going to come back to life during that ability, which is 16 seconds. It's quite a bit of long time. So this, in my opinion, is way better than the previous one. We're going to place the Healing Tome in the A tier. I think this is a clear A and B, or at least a priority for the Warden. I would choose that Healing Tome way over the Life Gem anytime. The Rage Gem rages up nearby troops, and it is a passive ability, which means, again, it's active even when the Warden hasn't used his ability. This, to me, is so much better than even the healing. I mean, the healing depends on your army, right? So you can either have an army that really would benefit from the healing, or an army that really benefit from the rage, or you can choose both. You can have both of them going at the same time. So I'm going to place the Rage Gem, which again, I have not unlocked in the game, in the A tier. I can't see it being an S tier because I can see living without that rage, but I can't see living without that Eternal Tome invincibility. But again, depending on your army, raging or healing, both, in my opinion, better than the Life Gem. Unfortunately, in my game, I only have 2 of them unlocked, and the one is the Life Gem, which isn't bad. It's not bad. It's still a B tier, but I can't wait to unlock this baby and then this baby once my blacksmith is upgraded. And then for the Royal Champion, we only have the 2 abilities that we're already used to. The active ability is the healing from the Royal Gem that activates whenever she uses her ability. So when she uses her ability, that you do gain quite a bit of healing whenever you use her ability. That is great. It's a bit static, but it can be a lifesaver. Static healing is going to go in the B category for me. It doesn't wow me, but it's good. And, because there's only 2 of them, it doesn't really matter where these line up until we get more, which I'm sure will come eventually in future updates. And the last one is going to be the Seeking Shield. Again, the active ability that we're all used to with the Royal Champion. Throws her shield, which bounces between defenses, dealing damage. To me, this one is darn near awesome. It is just the best. I don't know what they could do to top this, but in my humble opinion, the Seeking Shield is an S tier. Yes, guys. It saved my butt many, many times. It might be a weak S. It might belong here, but in general, this is my tier list. None of them were Ds. I mean, you could argue that, one of these or both belong in the D tier. Honestly, we could probably just delete that row, right? Like get rid of that altogether. But there you go, guys. This is my tier list for the new hero equipments here in Clash of Clans. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, your opinions, and your favorites as well. Let me know, let us know your combinations in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe, and don't forget to use code Klaus if you guys decide to buy something in the game.